Hi, it's Gary Kayye. We're here at InfoComm 2016. It's the end of the first day of the show, and somehow I found Dave Labuskes, who's the executive director of InfoComm. He seemed to have nothing else to do except talk to me.
That's about right, Gary. Who else could I possibly want to talk to?
The work of the day is done, so now it's time for you to shift on over your attention to me.
You know, exactly. In fact, we're thinking of changing the name to the Gary Kayye Show.
Well, you could have the end of the day Gary Kayye reception show.
There you go. Well, we are having a reception sort of over here behind me of the young AV professionals. You know,
I would not qualify for that.
Yeah, well, I put a ribbon on, so I qualify. You know, we have established a new council for young AV professionals. We sent out a call to our industry, and 150 people signed up to be on that council.
Wow.
It's just so cool. I was actually just talking to somebody telling a story. I was listening to a conversation, and they were talking about the digital native, and they were then complaining about the fact that the mobile natives who are coming in behind the digital natives don't understand how to use a computer.
Yeah.
So I just got to experience a younger generation complaining about the generation coming in behind them.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, I turned into a grandfather today. I don't know.
It is very true. The only time my daughter uses her laptop is for homework, and that's because everything is on Google Classroom,
right.
And that's how they get their assignments.
Yeah.
But she uses her phone.
Yeah.
She's on her phone, and sometimes on her tablet to watch TV. So definitely. So the industry's changing a lot. How is InfoComm, I mean, besides having reception like this, how do you keep up with all this? What are the initiatives that are primarily designed to make sure that our members, the members of InfoComm, are being able to keep up with this changing technology?
Well, I mean, if you just look back over the last couple years, things like the exceptional experience and the work we're doing there and helping the community understand that the value is the experience, not the technology.
The show. I mean, the show is the technology.
What show?
Yeah. I know there's 40-some thousand people would say there's a big show today.
And it is, but if you look at the booths in the show, the booths in the show are no longer focusing purely on the technology. Every one of the booths is creating experiences within their booths. That's what I think is amazing, is the creativity that you see. We've spent a lot of time in the last year putting this show together. Obviously, it actually starts before the end of the show before it, and it's about the attendee experience. It's about the exhibitor experience. The product and the solutions and the technology that our manufacturers bring in here to share, you know, that's on them. And they're inspired. They're inspired by the show. They're inspired by the attendees, and every one of them upped their game this year. I mean, it's an amazing show for me.
And I would also add to that, if you want my opinion on my own question, I would add to that the education. I think the education here is the key. I think the show floor is awesome, but I think the educational offerings that you guys have is the differentiation between a regular show and experience and everything else.
2 points on that. I was, again, just talking to somebody that's new into the industry. He's made a point of the fact that he comes here every year to take a 3-day class, and he was probably 25 years old, and he was commenting on the fact that he had an installation going on for one of his clients that had gone south, and he said the only way I was able to recover was because I could remember something that I was taught here in a class. So it's real. You know,
it's a great case study right there.
Oh yeah, well I pointed him right to Brad for our communication.
Marketing 101.
Absolutely. But the second thing is, we have a 20% increase in the number of people that are taking classes this year over last year. And I think some of that is this outcome of the all-you-can-eat opportunity that we created this year. You know, most people know at this stage, instead of selling individual classes, we put together a package that was buy one package, go to whatever class you want whenever you can make it. It did two things. One, it made the classes actually a lot more affordable, and two, it acknowledged the reality that scheduling at a trade show is fluid, and you may be setting an appointment and then you have a class, you don't want to commit yourself to the class time.
Right. No, I think that's a great idea, and also I think it simplifies things for people because they get really frustrated and upset, and they're stressed about making everything that they're committed to making, and I think this makes it a little bit more flexible. Definitely, you're going to have a show attendance record. There's no question. You guys, I'm sure you won't tell me the attendance numbers yet because you guys always like to keep that a secret to the end. But I can tell you that the show floor is definitely more packed than I've ever seen a Vegas show floor. So you're going to set an attendance record. But you've also got over 1,000 manufacturers this year. That's, I think, a record.
That's a record. We've already set a number of records here. I would tell you the number if I knew the number. I actually am not all that big about keeping it crazy. In fact, I remember we talked at ISE and I was sharing numbers with you. We do have over 1,000 exhibitors here. That's a first for us. We have about 527,000 square feet of, or net square feet of space. When you look at the attendance hall, you look at, or the exhibit hall, you look at the meeting rooms, you look at the demo rooms, etc. That's a new record for us. The number of people taking classes is a record. Yeah. The
number of courses that you have also is a record.
I don't know that one.
Yeah,
I'll believe you. And then this morning we set a new record for number of people taking the exam. Yep. So our previous record was 2 years old. It was set actually here in Vegas in 14. Was 237, and as of this morning we had about 248 people that had taken it. We were sold out today and tomorrow, and we still had some spots left for Friday. But
they turned on a money machine behind me, so it's distracting me a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Because I just want to make sure I get a shot at it.
That's part of our tech tours, so we're promoting people going to various different parts and seeing different things like this, going to the drone pavilion, going to the IoT pavilion, some of those things, and then you get your stamps and you drop it in, and then you get to walk into the money booth on Friday at 3 o'clock if your name's drawn. And I think last year we gave out about $4,000 to the winner.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So let me ask you, if put your futurist cap on, and if we were standing here talking and having this interview 5 years from today, give me 2 or 3 things that you think have changed in the industry over the next 5 years. What's 2 or 3 things that, whether it be technology related, people related, what product related, what do you think? If you were guessing, and I recognize that this is a tough question. You can even, if there's only one that you think of, give me what it is.
See, that was really nice of you to make it a longer question to give me a couple seconds.
I had to give you time to think.
This is the tricks of the trade here.
Yeah, I don't actually seed people with my questions ahead of time, so this is an actual interview.
That means Gary actually likes me. He throws the main question out, and then he talks for a couple more seconds.
Trying to help.
And then you show that it's not my first interview because I do this for a few seconds.
Right, but I'll help seed him with an answer if he doesn't come up with one.
I think the supply chain is going to be different, and I think there's going to be a lot more clarity in where the value is in the supply chain, and I think that's one of the biggest fluxes we're dealing with right now.
It is definitely.
And just because the value moves doesn't mean you have to move. You can stay where you are in the supply chain as a business. You're just going to reduce your margins, and you're going to have to adopt a different business model to be successful. So a lot of people are saying, well, these integrators are going to be gone. I don't know that they'll be gone, but their model will have shifted.
Right.
And the people that are watching where the value goes are going to shift their model, be able to capture that value. I think there's something that needs to happen in our industry from a globalization perspective. It's really challenging, though. I mean, especially at the direct customer facing area, because our practices are so different around the world. But the customer wants to be able to have a predictable experience in Mumbai as much as they do in Sydney, as much as they do in Tokyo, as much as they do in Las Vegas.
You're absolutely right.
And we haven't figured out as an industry how to deliver that experience consistently internationally. Yep. But our customers are going to force us to figure it out. I think maybe the last thing I would talk about, I think we're going to see more and more, as I'm even saying it, it sounds a little cliche, but I think it becomes a big deal. It's going to be more about user experience, more about the interaction of our equipment.
My seed answer to you was going to be everything's going to be a lot simpler.
Yeah,
that was going to be my second. Yeah, and that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, well, you teach students, so you're exposed to post-millennials, right? I just got to listen. Well, I was talking about the fact that having people talk about the next generation come in at a young AV professionals reception, and they actually used a phrase which I'm stealing from somebody, which is the mobile native. You have the digital natives we're all using. They're complaining about the kids coming into school behind them that are mobile natives that don't know how to use a computer. They don't know how to even use a menu system on a computer application.
But I think in reality, we need to adapt to that.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I think what's funny about that is there's a lot of companies here at the show floor that have terrible mobile sites. You can't even look at their sites on a mobile device. You can't use the registration functionality. You can't use the programming functionality. And so you're right. I think we're going to have to adapt that way as an industry. And I definitely think it's going to be. And I think that the influence of young people is going to be much faster than it ever has been. I don't think. I didn't have the opportunity to influence the industry at 30 as quickly as the 30-year-olds do now.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a big change. I think, and I think we got to move out of the way and let them do it.
I agree. I guess the final point I'd make is 5 years from now, we will have reasserted the fact that that AV is an industry. You know, we will be talking about AV as AV. We will have swung back from the pendulum of communications and ICT, and we will be proud of and talking about AV as a profession.
That's a pretty bold statement, because you've got a lot of things going on in the industry to, I guess, dilute the word AV right now, the term AV, don't you think? I mean, there's a lot of people that are sort of afraid to use that, so they've always attached IT to it recently, or they've attached collaboration to it, and really, I tend to agree with you.
You know,
I think
the magic is, let's own AV. Let's reassert AV, and let's attract let's get the IT professional to say, I want to be AV.
Right.
Those are the cool people. Those are the ones that are creating magic. Those are the ones that are really building value for the CEO. They're the ones getting us closer to the customer, helping our employees work together better. I don't want to be IT. I want to be AV.
I think exactly what you're saying is the reason why we have not done well in the digital signage market, actually, because we've shunned away from it because we didn't see it as an AV opportunity other than the display. And I think there's an opportunity for us to steal that market back, I guess is probably the best term. I mean, of course, we sell a lot of digital signage, but we don't sell the infrastructure. We don't sell a lot of the creative.
Yeah, I've read a lot about what you've written in that.
Yeah, we've sold very little of the creative. And I think there's, as you said, you started out by saying that integrators are going to be different and that they're going to have to figure out how to make money on stuff other than products. What better way than to sell creative services? It's very profitable, and you establish a level of intellectual property that differentiates you. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I think that, so I'd love to see that, and more than just digital signage. I'm talking about video wall technology, which I think is going to be everywhere. I think 5 years from today, when we're standing here doing this interview, that entire wall is going to be an image. And it's going to be whatever image you decide to put out. I don't think we're going to see any banners hung anywhere. I think all this stuff's going to be projected images.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be display images.
In your Super Tuesday session.
I definitely think it's going to be stuff everywhere. And it's, who knows what, the technology is not going to matter. I don't think people are going to say, oh, that's a so-and-so type of tech. I think it's just going to be there, as opposed to us thinking about. And we are the industry best to do that. We're the best suited to do that. And that's going to require some integration with the network and other things, but it doesn't mean the network has to take it over.
That's right. And the magic is going to be what people feel when they look at that wall.
Right.
And that's a profession, and there's value in that.
No question, no question. Well, you've done a great job. I mean, how long have you been at InfoComm now? 3 years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years since you took over.
Yeah.
I was a great admirer of your work before you were at InfoComm. The work that you did as a design consultant was amazing, and they picked the right person for the job, and you've done a phenomenal job. So thanks for carrying our industry where you've carried it. I'm excited with the growth of not only InfoComm and your partnership with ISE, but also the direction education is. I happen to be one of the people that's excited about the direction the education is heading right now. So thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Thanks for your time. We'll report back eventually. He'll tell me what the attendance numbers are. It probably won't be today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. But I know that for those of you who aren't here at the show, there's 250,000 of you in the United States alone that aren't here at the show. There's 40,000 probably here. We're covering it. All you have to do is type in a manufacturer's name. Those 1,000 or so manufacturers are here. Just type in their name in the video search window. We'll pull up a video of what they showed here at the show, including InfoComm. So thanks for watching.